Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about hair loss and how to regrow strong and healthy hair. So if you've ever suffered from hair loss or you know anyone who's ever suffered from hair loss, then this video is something that you should definitely watch. I want to point out that I will not be going over all the reasons for hair loss, just touching on some and sharing some tips on how you can correct hair loss and to grow strong and healthy hair. I'll also be including my hair loss story along with videos and pictures as well. So if you're interested to know more about hair loss or to just create some awareness about hair loss, then stick around for the rest of the video. Now with that being said, let us head right into today's video. So in July of 2022, I was currently at mid-back length and I was like 2 to 3 inches, I would say, from waist length, because when my hair was in a plait state, you know, it's not fully stretched, it was below like bra length. So when it was stretched, it was at like mid-back length and I just needed like 2 to 3 inches to reach waist length. Then fast forward to about 3 months later, person started to tell me that my hair was looking shorter, but I was like, nah, this is how my hair has always looked. It's not shorter, it's not falling off, it's the same. And then around April of 2023, I did a plait out again and I added some beads to my hair. I'm going to insert the pictures to show you guys. And I noticed that my hair was not down in my back anymore. It was like across my shoulder. So I was like, at first I was shocked and obviously I felt sad. I felt a ball of emotions because I was not expecting this. At the start of 2023, I noted that my hair was shedding heavily, but I was not really paying it any mind. I was like, okay, I have a lot of hair, my hair is thick, so of course I'm going to have more shedding than the average person or than somebody who does not have as much hair as I do. Lo and behold, my hair was like falling out and I did not even know it. So I messaged my best friend and I was like, hey girl, you know, my hair is falling off, and I sent her the picture and she asked me what I was doing that was different. I said I didn't do anything different, I just did a trim in January, and normally when I do trims I cut like an inch or an inch and a half. So from January to April, that inch and a half would mostly grow back by then. So it wasn't the trim that, you know, caused it to be that short. And I was like trying to think back what I was doing, why is this happening? And I for a moment felt like this hair growth journey does not make any sense, because I am trying to grow my hair and my hair is falling off regardless of what I'm doing. So what is the point? So I went back into my brain and I was thinking, I was like, oh, you know, all of this started when one, I was wearing a lot of beads at the time. So I was wearing a lot of elastic bands in my hair and I was not oiling the bands before putting them to the ends of my hair. So that could be a possible reason for why my hair was breaking off. Also, I was like experimenting at the time, so I was doing a DIY rosemary and meringue oil. I still don't know the exact reason, but I feel as though the oil I was making was a little bit too potent and I was applying it to my scalp and my hair as well, and I feel as though that is one of the reasons to why my hair was shedding as much. And at the time I was also wearing a little bit more puffs because I don't normally wear my hair out. It's always in its twist or some protective styling. So I feel as though wearing my hair out, using the meringue and rosemary tea and water along with the elastic band in my hair, and at the time I was a little bit stressed as well, so I feel all those combinations were the result of my hair loss. So there are several factors that can actually cause hair loss, some serious, some not so serious. The not so serious ones you can actually treat at home, which is what I'll be pretty much giving you guys some tips on later on. But to determine whether or not it is serious, I would highly recommend going to a doctor and running some tests, because you never know, you might be on a medication that is causing you to lose hair, you might be developing alopecia, you might have lupus, thyroid disease, your DHT levels might be high. So there are many factors for why you might be experiencing hair loss. And to be honest, if you are experiencing hair loss because of an ailment, then a simple homemade remedy might not be effective enough to help you restore your healthy hair. So it would be best to see a doctor first, do some tests to see what is going on in your body, and then from there you would be able to know what is happening so you can know what to do. So if you do some tests and you realize that the test comes back negative and you don't have an ailment, then there are less serious reasons to why you might be experiencing hair loss. For one that I think is so common is stress. I know oftentimes life stress all of us out. So stress might be one of the factors to why you are losing hair. It might be that you are doing DIYs and hair treatments and they're either too potent or they're not right for your hair, because what works for me may not work for you and what works for you may not work for me. So another reason is that the techniques for styling your hair is not appropriate. And when I say not appropriate, I mean not appropriate for length retention. So for example, wearing a lot of puffs, you're doing a lot of low buns where you're pulling on your edges, because I realize that edges are one of those places that are more prone to hair loss than anywhere else. Because I see a lot of persons sometimes with bald spots in the middle of their hair or their edges, and that has to do with the hairstyles that you put in. So sometimes the braids that you wear, you might get cornrows, or you might be doing box braids, some locks on, then you have to take them out. So you might not be using the proper techniques to remove these styles, or even styling your natural hair, you might not be using the proper techniques, and as a result you are damaging your hair and you might be experiencing hair loss. So as I mentioned earlier, if you go to the doctor and you do some tests and you realize that, oh, I'm not sick, that's not the reason why I'm experiencing hair loss, then you might be able to do some treatments at home to help you restore your hair and to even grow it stronger and fuller than before. And we all know what I'm going to say first, oils, and Jamaican black castor oil. So using oils and teas and other DIYs and homemade treatments can be a big benefit when it comes on to restoring and growing healthy hair. And yes, I know I said it earlier that my hair loss was partially due to DIYs, but that was before I was mindful of the fact that I could actually be making this too potent or too strong for my hair. Because what I realized is that when I use a lot of rosemary in my tea, my scalp burns. So I don't know if you guys ever realize that I don't use a lot of herbs when I make my tea, because I feel as though a small amount can go a long way. One cocoa full basket. So while I might not be using a lot in one moment, I'll be using it for an extended period of time, so I'll still be getting the benefit. So it's best to learn you and your hair, regardless of what other influencers might say. Everyone's hair is different and the needs are also different. So some of the oils that you can actually use to help you regrow your hair after hair loss are Jamaican black castor oil, jojoba oil, and rosemary oil. So castor oil has fatty acids, and fatty acids helps to repair tissues and it helps with your hair growth. And I personally love Jamaican black castor oil. It also has anti-inflammatory and anti-fungal properties, so it fights against dandruff. So you don't really have to worry about dandruff when you use Jamaican black castor oil, and it stimulates your growth. So it creates a more balanced environment for your hair. So you would in turn regrow the hair that you lost, plus grow more hair. So castor oil for me is a win-win. I always try my best to go for products that contains castor oil, or I try my best to include castor oil in everything that I do. Rosemary contains carcinic acid, which has anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties as well. And as I said earlier about castor oil, it also helps to balance the environment of your hair, so you would get stronger and more beautiful hair. So trying to include oils in your routine is very important. I know there's a misconception. Well, it's not really a misconception, it's actual facts that if you use too much oil on your scalp, then it will clog your pores. But using oils, especially those infused with herbs, can be very beneficial when it comes onto your hair growth. So I would highly recommend using oils as well, especially if you're suffering from hair loss and you're looking to regrow your hair. So oils can be a great tool to assist you. Just remember that a small amount goes a long way, and too much of one good thing is good for nothing. So you can use oil, but ensure that you're not using too much oil at once. So the other thing I want to say is that you can actually do DIYs at home and homemade treatments. Try to include teas in your routine, whether through wash, whether using it as a leave-in, or a spray, whatever it might be, and ensure that you are doing deep conditioning and protein treatments, because if your hair does not have protein in it, then it will start to become brittle, and that is when it will start to break and be damaged. And that is pretty much it. There are other information out there that you guys can go ahead and research to become more knowledgeable. This is just a small amount of the reasons and how you can correct these reasons. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye my loves.